Oh boy, friends. It's T-Man. I'm back with another Blaha video that I have to react to because, man, he just keeps pushing out misinformation. It's incredible, man. Anyways, we're going to react to the gym lifting, recruiting, fitness, gear sleeves video. Blaha says in this video, genetics impact proportions more than exercise selection. I don't know where he gets this. Where does he come up with this stuff? He must be watching other channels.
The amount of effort that you put in is more important than what exercises you pick for muscle growth. Hey everybody, it's JasonBlaha here, and I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today, but if you guys would please click like and drop me a comment down below, I'd appreciate it so much. All right, let's get over to this topic. This is one of those where this is pretty well supported by tons of evidence. This has been observed by experts. It's been observed by plenty of bodybuilders for pretty much generations. But when you start looking
observed
at a lot of the research, we start finding that as
yes, what is the research exactly?
You get closer to failure, weights go up, progressive overload goes up, volumes go up, particularly volume with proximity to failure.
Okay, why does it go up? What's the very first thing that's activated in the body? If you move a weight around or something, what's the first thing that's recruited? Motor units are the first thing. Your nervous system, the motor units are recruited, yeah?
Muscle growth tends to be fairly...
Of course, muscles are also recruited because that's where they reside, in the muscles, the motor units. So they must be recruited within the what? Within the motor, within the muscles, the muscle fibers.
Complete in muscles, okay? And people lose sight of this fact. I feel like they absolutely lose sight of this fact, and then they'll say, well, how come, if that's true, then why does this person have this lagging muscle? Well, it's genetics. So, and I think...
That is absolutely not genetics. A lagging muscle or something. What do you mean lagging muscle? You're genetically put together perfectly. Now, if you're lifting weights and you have a disproportion in size, it's because you're lifting weights disproportionately, causing this disproportion. Get it? In most likely sarcoplasmic, and I don't know, maybe there's some myofibrillar, but very little. I really doubt it.
That point has to be made when it comes to your proportions. If you train everything equally,
okay,
you're not necessarily going to have the same proportions as someone else, and I think people forget that. So when
if you train what, you won't have the the proportions like other people. Everybody, they're proportionate. But you may see some people with bigger muscle bellies. Some people have better calves than other people. Why? Because they were born with more muscle fibers in that area. Whatever, during their development, you could call that genetic. See, that's called genetic. Your natural body, the way you were born and you developing and everything, growing up, and that is also environment also affects you, affects your genetics a lot. The environment, what you eat, what you're doing will affect you, yeah. So, but you measuring it up to another human being, that would be your natural look. Now, you lifting weights and causing something disproportionate, that's up to you.
When we have this conversation, you know, people will say, well, if that's the case, then why don't you have amazing biceps compared to the rest of your size?
Why doesn't he have amazing biceps to the rest of his size? Because Blaha is suffering from sarcopenia. He just doesn't realize it yet.
You know, this actually, my biceps kind of proved the point, actually.
Oh, he's suffering from a sign of sarcopenia. He has no shoulders, no arms. He has skinny arms and a fat waist to ratio to chest waist ratio. And he's got skinny legs. You just don't really notice it. You understand me? But again, he's taking TRT, trying to fight it.
Right. Kind of proved the point, actually.
Okay.
Right? Because what's one of the few muscles that I have isolated to a massive extent? My biceps.
No, his shoulders and biceps. But everything else is really bad. He has a flat chest. Look at his chest. It's flat. It's completely flat. And he has zero calves. And his legs are still skinny, man.
I think that's worth noting there, right? If we looked at how much isolation work I've done for any given muscle in my body,
Like, what is this doing exactly? Him pushing the sled.
the entire time you guys have seen me making content
Look at Blaha. What a silly guy. He is so silly, man.
for
Yeah, it's Blaha time.
13 plus years, what muscle has gotten more isolation in my body than anything else by a large metric? My biceps.
Your biceps?
Right? They've gotten way more isolation work over the years, particularly.
Muscles are postmitotic. Blah is really dumb, man. He's already at that age. He's in old age now, and he decided to do bodybuilding because he's been powerlifting, isn't whatever, doing this his whole life, like trying to lift a heavy weight. So now he wants to build his body. You understand? Which is ridiculous because powerlifting doesn't build bodies. It just recruits motor units. So now he's decided to do bodybuilding. Now he's complaining about his biceps, why they're not growing. Because number one, he's 48 years old, right? And muscles are postmitotic. He doesn't want to damage them to grow them. But then again, also, he's not eating enough carbohydrates. If he ate a lot more complex carbohydrates and did this lifting, they probably balanced themselves out because he'll increase the sarcoplasm within the biceps.
Like the last 5 years than any other muscle in my body. So again, if we ran over to this, well, if you just isolated mind muscle gland focus and that's what's going to grow, well,
yeah,
then
yeah, that's what they do. It's not bodybuilding, we're isolating muscles because we're trying to damage that muscle fiber. If that's the whole point of isolation in real bodybuilding, we're trying to cause micro damage to the muscle fiber to get it to come back, grow bigger and stronger. But they won't grow back bigger and stronger if you're not in positive nitrogen balance, so that won't matter anyways. Number two, the fake bodybuilding people in there are eating an artificial diet called complex carbohydrates. So they're just moving for the pump. They're not moving for DOMs. They're moving for the pump. Get it? Artificial muscle growth. That's totally different.
Why don't I have amazing biceps?
That's cosmetic. See, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, that's cosmetic.
Like, why are they not disproportionately big compared to the rest of my body? Because it's just not true. It's called genetics and structure. But that being said, so just
it's called sarcopenia.
think those things through, and I think people forget that. Like, I literally actually kind of proved the point. I could be used as a textbook example in a lot of ways for that, right?
Yeah, okay.
Now, that being said, when I make this statement too, I know some really good natural bodybuilding coaches who say similar stuff. They're just like, look, stop trying to fix weak points. Your genetics are your genetics. Just train everything. And they will say that, look, your genetics are going to determine your structure. And even if you want to go compete in bodybuilding, your genetics and frame are going to determine your best class, right? All bodybuilding, and women is even more diverse than men's at this point. There's so many divisions, even in, say, the natural and even the enhanced, that a lot of people can land in a lot of different places, okay? And it's largely your genetics that would determine which particular type class you're going to do best in, okay? Because your proportions and other stuff are going to be based largely upon your genetics and frame and other stuff, limb lengths. Right, so you take a guy like me with longer arms, you're going to struggle to have proportionate biceps no matter what you do. And then there could be other factors. But the point we're making here is when we look at data, we start seeing that as volumes go up and proximity to failure go up, even your big compounds grow all the muscles involved, okay? And we're not saying individual heads don't get left out. I'm not telling you to never isolate anything. I'm not even making that statement. But we're simply looking at the reason you might isolate something would realistically be because something in your program isn't hitting it, okay? I mean, a perfect example would be, hey, if you're focusing really hard on dips and chin-ups, your side delts might be getting the least stimulus out of any muscle in your upper body, so throwing some lateral raises in would make a little sense in that case. But what if you were doing a compound movement that actually hit the side head harder? What if you were doing an upright row? Well, then that goes away. What if you do behind the neck presses? So let's say you have the mobility to do a behind the neck press, not just a regular
Okay, what about it?
overhead press, not just a regular overhead press, but people who can really get back there.
All right,
Well,
what about it?
now we've got something. So what if you're doing dips, chin-ups, and behind the neck press?
Okay, what if you are doing that? What about it?
I mean, pretty much every muscle in your upper body is getting pretty solid stimulus at that point. I'm just giving that as
Everything is getting stimulus. Everything gets stimulus. Walking down the street stimulates you. Eating your popsicle stick will stimulate. Man, chewing your food will stimulate. What the hell fuck is Blaha yammering on about here?
an example, right? If you were unbalanced training that way, it would
Dude, everything stimulates your body. Everything you're doing, your natural things, that your daily routines that you're doing, brushing your teeth, shaving your face, taking a shower, walking, taking the towel, cleaning yourself off, getting dressed, man, eating your food, walking outside, taking out the garbage, moving things around, cleaning up your home, doing your laundry. This is all stimulating you. What is Blaha getting at here? What's he trying to say exactly? Driving your car is stimulating, stepping on the pedals.
due to genetics, not due to the training.
It's due to the genetics. It's not due to the training. What? Your genetics ended when your growth plates stopped growing. Your genetics have ended. Get it? It's over. What are you talking about?
You trained them really hard, right?
Oh my God.
Would everything be getting maximum growth? No, not necessarily. But if you took the volumes up high enough, it would. And I think this is what people forget with enough sets, close to failure, high quality reps. Because when we start looking at this, what do we see even in the big movements?
High quality reps? I like how he uses the word high quality reps, sets. High quality. What was the difference to them to begin with? Do they have low quality or something?
We get heavier or we get close to failure. Even EMGs show higher and higher activations for everything, right? It's not proportional.
Higher EMGs, not proportional. What is he mumbling about?
And I think that when we talk about certain muscles getting better work from specific exercises,
Okay.
it's usually with less effort, right? That's what we have to understand. I mean, even EMG studies, muscle growth studies, everything, it's usually only looking at low volumes and sub-failure sets. Because when you remove those things and the volumes go up, you start training to failure.
Okay.
It's a different ballgame. You don't get any real lagging muscles in a lot of the stages. Everything starts balancing as far as what's being
Oh, it does it?
worked on your big movements. And it's the same thing with different types of curls. Yeah, we have different studies even looking at the bicep with MRI from an incline curl versus a preacher curl. But then when it's been noted, is it really bicep difference or is it because the brachialis gets worked more? It's a separate muscle getting more work. But what happens as soon as multiple exercises come into the equation? Well, if you start adding rows or pull-ups or whatever to that, well, then the brachialis, other stuff's going to get more balance. And at the end of the day, ultimately, you're going to find that as long as you're training really hard with sufficient volume, with it, especially with bigger exercises in the mix, everything is getting pretty well stimulated. Okay. So if you're having disproportionate development, it's usually, at that point, it's usually just genetics. It's just your genetics.
It's just your genetics, guys. It's your genetics, but your genetics have ended. Proportionate to size because of your genetics. That doesn't make any sense at all whatsoever. I don't understand. Okay, whatever, man. That didn't make any sense, bro. Nothing in this video made sense. It's genetics. That's why you have disproportionate in size and muscle size. So let me get this straight. If I work on my arm, just I worked out on my arms a lot, right? One day I just kept doing my arms a lot because that's all I had were these little dumbbells. Now my arms grew, whatever, and I was going through a growth phase. I was a young person, right? And I got these big arms now. And I didn't work out on anything else, my shoulders and everything. Well, I have a disproportion now. If I start doing, like later on, I start doing shoulders, back, chest. Well, will I be disproportionate? Yeah. Why? Because all I did was my arms that whole time growing up. But this is just whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And that's fine. We just deal with it and move on. Just keep training. You can't change those things.
You can't change those things. Just move on. Let's just deal with those things. Whatever, man. I don't know. This video made no sense. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Blaha.